Look, I'm going to be completely honest with you right now. Everyone keeps saying the Maldives is the ultimate tropical paradise, the place you absolutely must visit before you die. But after comparing it side by side with Malaysia, I discovered something that's going to save you thousands of dollars and possibly give you an even better experience. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly which destination deserves your hard-earned money and why one of these places is wildly overrated. Here's what nobody tells you about these two destinations. The Maldives has built this incredible reputation as the world's most luxurious beach getaway. And yes, it's stunning. But Malaysia has been quietly offering something that might actually be better, and is flying completely under the radar. I'm going to break down everything from the actual cost of your trip to the quality of beaches, food, activities, and that intangible feeling of whether you're actually getting value for your money. Stick with me because what I found in the accommodation section alone is going to blow your mind. Let's start with the thing that matters most to nearly everyone planning a trip: the money. Because here's the reality. You can talk all day about crystal clear waters and palm trees, but if you're spending your entire year's vacation budget on 4 days, that changes everything. A mid-range resort in the Maldives will cost you anywhere from $800 to $1,500 per night. Yes, per night. And we're not even talking about the ultra-luxury overwater villas yet. Those can easily run you $3,000 to $5,000 per night. Now, this includes your room, usually breakfast, and that's about it. You want lunch? That's another $50 to $100 per person. Dinner? Same thing. A cocktail by the pool? Expect to pay $20 to $30 for a single drink. There's no popping down to a local restaurant because you're stuck on a private island resort. You're eating at their restaurants with their prices, and they know you have no other options. Malaysia gives you something completely different. You can find stunning beachfront resorts in places like Langkawi, Perhentian Islands, or Tioman Island for $100 to $300 per night. And these aren't budget dumps. We're talking gorgeous properties with pools, beach access, and actual style. But here's where it gets interesting. Because you're not trapped on a private island. You can walk 10 minutes and find local restaurants where a full meal costs $5 to $10. That same cocktail that costs you $25 in the Maldives, you're paying $5 to $7 in Malaysia. A fresh coconut straight from the tree, $2. A full seafood dinner with prawns, fish, squid, rice, and vegetables, maybe $15. Let me put this in perspective. A 5-night trip to the Maldives for 2 people, staying at a mid-range resort, eating 3 meals a day at the resort, and maybe doing 1 or 2 activities, you're looking at around $8,000 to $12,000 minimum. That same 5-night trip in Malaysia, staying at a beautiful resort, eating a mix of resort and local food, doing multiple activities, you're spending maybe $2,000 to $3,500. You could literally take 3 trips to Malaysia for the price of 1 Maldives vacation. But price is just one piece of the puzzle. Maybe you're thinking the Maldives justifies that cost because the experience is just that much better. So let's talk about the beaches because this is where things get really interesting. The Maldives has some of the most photographed beaches on Earth. That powdery white sand, those impossibly blue waters, the overwater bungalows. It's the stuff of Instagram dreams. The sand is so fine it feels like walking on clouds. The water visibility is incredible, sometimes up to 30 meters. You can literally see your toes in water that's chest deep. The color gradient from turquoise to deep blue is genuinely breathtaking. There's no arguing that the Maldives delivers on natural beauty. But Malaysia has beaches that will absolutely surprise you. Perhentian Islands have some of the clearest water you'll ever see, with visibility easily reaching 20 meters. The sand on Long Beach in Perhentian is bright white and incredibly soft. Redong Island offers beaches that rival anything in the Maldives, with that same powdery texture and brilliant blue water. Langkawi has stretches of beach like Tanjung Ru that are hauntingly beautiful, with dramatic limestone cliffs in the background. Tioman Island gives you jungle-back beaches where you could be swimming in crystal clear water with tropical rainforest literally steps away. Here's the crucial difference though. In the Maldives, you're typically confined to your resort's beach. That's your beach for the entire trip. It's beautiful, but it's the same view every single day. In Malaysia, You can island hop. You can visit 3 different beaches in one day if you want. Perhentian Island alone has multiple stunning beaches you can explore by boat or even by walking. You get variety. You get exploration. You get that sense of adventure and discovery. And let's address something nobody talks about. The Maldives beaches, while gorgeous, can feel sterile. They're often meticulously maintained and groomed, which is nice, but sometimes you want that raw, natural feeling. Malaysia gives you beaches that feel more alive, more real. You might see local fishermen bringing in their catch. You'll see tropical birds. You'll find little beach shacks selling fresh fruit. There's a pulse to it that the Maldives sometimes lacks. Now let's dive into the water, because this is where both destinations shine, but in very different ways. The Maldives is world famous for its underwater world. The coral reefs surrounding the islands are teeming with life. You can see manta rays, reef sharks, sea turtles, and thousands of tropical fish without even trying. Many resorts have house reefs where you can literally walk off the beach and be surrounded by marine life within minutes. The diving in the Maldives is legitimately world-class. You can do drift dives through channels where currents bring in big pelagic species. Whale shark sightings are relatively common during certain seasons. If you're a serious diver, the Maldives offers experiences that are hard to match. But here's what's crazy. Malaysia's marine life is absolutely incredible and gets a fraction of the attention. Sipatan Island off the coast of Sabah is regularly ranked as one of the top dive sites in the entire world. Jacques Cousteau called it an untouched piece of art. You can see massive schools of barracuda, enormous sea turtles just casually swimming past you, reef sharks, and walls of coral that drop thousands of feet. Perhentian Islands have fantastic snorkeling and diving with abundant marine life. You'll see baby sharks, huge schools of fish, incredible coral formations, and frequent turtle encounters. The visibility in Malaysia's best spots matches the Maldives. The diversity of marine life is comparable. But here's the kicker. A diving package in the Maldives will cost you $150 to $300 for 2 dives. In Malaysia, you're paying $60 to $100 for the same thing, sometimes with better guides and smaller groups. Snorkeling equipment rental in the Maldives runs about $30 to $50 per day. In Malaysia, it's $5 to $10, and many places include it free with your accommodation. A friend of mine who's an experienced diver visited both destinations within the same year. He told me the diving in Sipatan actually exceeded his expectations compared to Maldives because there was more variety in the underwater topography and he encountered more diverse species. The Maldives had slightly better visibility on average, but the difference wasn't dramatic enough to justify the massive price gap. Let's talk about food because this is where Malaysia absolutely dominates. In the Maldives, you're eating resort food. It's usually good, sometimes excellent, but it's resort food. Breakfast, buffets, international cuisine, nicely plated dishes. You'll find Italian restaurants, Japanese teppanyaki, maybe some fusion concepts. The quality is generally high because these resorts know they're charging premium prices. But it lacks soul. It lacks authenticity. You're not experiencing Maldivian culture through food because the resorts cater to international tourists who want familiar options. The local Maldivian cuisine exists, but most resorts barely feature it. If you do find it, you'll discover it's actually quite simple. Lots of fish, coconut, rice, and curry-based dishes. It's fine, but it's not particularly diverse or exciting. And remember, you're paying $50 to $100 per person per meal for this food that you could find at any upscale resort anywhere in the world. Malaysia will ruin you for food. This country is a food paradise that doesn't get nearly enough credit. You've got Malay cuisine with dishes like nasi lemak, rendang, satay, and laksa. You got Chinese Malaysian food with Hainanese chicken rice, char kway teow, and dim sum. You got Indian Malaysian cuisine with roti canai, banana leaf rice, and tandoori. Then you got Peranakan food, which is this incredible fusion of Chinese and Malay influences, giving you dishes like ayam pong and otak otak. You can eat at a local hawker center and get mind-blowing food for $3 to $5 per meal. These aren't tourist traps. These are places where locals eat every single day. The quality is exceptional because these hawkers have been perfecting their one or two dishes for decades. You want fresh seafood? Go to any coastal town and you'll find restaurants where you can feast on grilled fish, butter prawns, chili crab, and squid for a fraction of what you'd pay at a Maldives resort. Street food in Malaysia is an experience unto itself. Night markets pop up all over the country where you can try everything from grilled sauté to fresh tropical fruits to weird and wonderful snacks you've never seen before. You're not just eating. You're experiencing the culture, interacting with locals, discovering new flavors, and doing it all for pocket change. Even if you want to eat at nice restaurants in Malaysia, you're still paying way less than the Maldives. A beautiful dinner at an upscale beachfront restaurant in Langkawi might cost you $30 to $50 per person for multiple courses and drinks. That wouldn't even cover your appetizer in the Maldives. Now let's look at the activities and experiences beyond just lounging on the beach. The Maldives is primarily about relaxation. You're there to unwind, disconnect, and enjoy the water. Most resorts offer spa services, water sports like kayaking and paddleboarding, and organized excursions like sunset cruises or dolphin watching. These are lovely experiences, but they're limited in scope. You're on a small island. There's only so much to do. Many people find that after 2 or 3 days, they've done everything available and they're just repeating the same activities. Excursions in the Maldives are expensive. A sunset fishing trip might cost $150 to $200 per person. A day trip to a local island runs about $100 to $150. A private sandbank picnic can cost $300 to $500 per couple. These experiences are nice, but you're paying premium prices for relatively simple activities. Malaysia offers absurd variety. You want adventure? Go jungle trekking in Taman Negara, one of the world's oldest rainforests. Go whitewater rafting. Try canopy walks suspended high above the forest floor. Visit caves filled with bats and ancient rock formations. Go on wildlife spotting trips to see orangutans, proboscis monkeys, and pygmy elephants in Borneo. You want culture? Explore the UNESCO World Heritage Sites in Georgetown and Malacca. Visit ornate temples, colorful mosques, and colonial architecture. Walk through Little India, Chinatown, and Malay kampongs all in the same day. Attend cultural performances and festivals. Learn about the fascinating mix of cultures that make Malaysia unique. You want unique experiences? Take a cooking class and learn to make authentic Malaysian dishes. Visit tea plantations in the Cameron Highlands. Explore the incredible cave temples like Bata Caves. Go firefly watching along jungle rivers. Visit traditional fishing villages. Shop at massive markets filled with local handicrafts, spices, and textiles. The activities in Malaysia cost a fraction of the Maldives. A guided jungle trek might cost $30 to $50. A cooking class runs about $40 to $60 and includes all your food. Island hopping tours that visit multiple beaches and snorkeling spots cost around $20 to $35 per person. You can fill your entire day with amazing experiences and still spend less than a single meal at a Maldives resort. Let's talk about accessibility because this is a huge practical consideration. Getting to the Maldives is complicated and expensive. First, you fly into Malé, the capital. But you're not staying in Malé. You're staying at a resort on a different island. So now you need to take either a speedboat or a seaplane to your resort. Speedboat transfers can take anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours depending on your resort, and they cost $100 to $300 per person each way. Seaplane transfers are faster for distant resorts, but cost $300 to $600 per person each way. And seaplanes only operate during daylight hours. So if your flight arrives late, you might need to overnight in Malé and transfer the next morning. The international flights to Malé are often expensive too, especially from Europe or the Americas. You're looking at $1,000 to $2,000 per person just for flights, sometimes more during peak season. And the Maldives isn't really on the way to anywhere, so you're making a dedicated journey. Malaysia is incredibly accessible. Kuala Lumpur has a major international airport with connections to virtually everywhere. Flight prices are generally reasonable, often $500 to $1,200 from Europe or the Americas, less from Asia and Australia. Once you're in Malaysia, domestic flights are cheap. You can fly from Kuala Lumpur to Langkawi for $30 to $60. Ferries to islands are affordable, usually $10 to $30 per person. The transportation infrastructure is well developed and efficient. Plus, Malaysia is a real country with cities, towns, and infrastructure. You can rent a car and explore at your own pace. You can take buses and trains. You can piece together your own itinerary combining beaches, culture, nature, and food. The Maldives doesn't give you that flexibility. You're locked into whatever resort you booked. Here's something else worth considering: weather and seasonality. The Maldives has a dry season from November to April and a wet season from May to October. During the wet season, you can experience significant rainfall, rougher seas, and reduced visibility for diving. The resorts stay open year-round, but you're taking a gamble if you visit during the wet season. And because the peak dry season is so concentrated, prices skyrocket during those months. Everyone wants to visit from December to March, so resorts can charge whatever they want. Malaysia has more regional variation in weather, which actually works in your favor. While the East Coast islands like Perhentian and Redong are best from March to October, the West Coast destinations like Langkawi are great from November to March. Borneo has different patterns altogether. This means you can visit Malaysia year-round and still find great beach weather somewhere in the country. You have more flexibility in planning your trip, and you can sometimes find better deals during shoulder seasons. Let's address the elephant in the room: luxury and exclusivity. The Maldives absolutely wins if your priority is feeling like you're in the lap of luxury. The resorts are designed to make you feel special. You get personal butler service, private pools, overwater villas with glass floors, so you can watch fish swim beneath you, underwater restaurants, and over-the-top amenities. The level of service is exceptional. Staff remember your name, your preferences, and go out of their way to create magical moments. There's something undeniably special about staying in an overwater bungalow. Waking up and stepping directly into the ocean from your deck is a unique experience. Having that sense of total privacy and seclusion is wonderful. The Maldives has perfected this concept, and if this is your dream vacation, it delivers. But here's the question you need to ask yourself: is that worth 3 to 4 times the cost? Because Malaysia has luxury resorts too. The Datai Langkawi, the Ritz-Carlton Langkawi, Pankar Lot Resort. These are world-class properties with stunning design, excellent service, and beautiful settings. You can absolutely have a luxurious vacation in Malaysia. You just won't have the overwater bungalow Instagram shot. And honestly, after talking to people who stayed in those overwater villas, many say the novelty wears off after a day or two. The rooms can be hot during the day. You can hear every sound to the floor. Getting into the water involves a ladder that becomes tiresome after multiple uses. It's a cool experience, but it's not necessarily better than staying in a beautiful beachfront villa with direct beach access. Malaysia also offers luxury in different forms. You can stay at a private villa, resort with your own chef. You can book jungle lodges with incredible architecture and design. You can find boutique properties that offer intimacy and character that big Maldives resorts sometimes lack. Luxury isn't just about price tags. It's about unique experiences and feeling like you're somewhere special. Malaysia delivers that in spades. Let's talk about the people and cultural immersion, because this is where the experiences diverge dramatically. In the Maldives, your interaction with local culture is minimal. The resort staff are friendly and professional, but you're in a bubble. You're not experiencing Maldivian life. You're experiencing resort life that could be anywhere. Some resorts offer excursions to local islands where you can visit villages and see how people actually live, but these feel somewhat staged and touristy. The Maldives is a Muslim country with conservative values, but you'd barely know it from inside your resort where alcohol flows freely and dress code are relaxed. Malaysia invites you into its culture. The country is a fascinating mix of Malay, Chinese, Indian, and indigenous cultures, all coexisting and influencing each other. You'll encounter this diversity everywhere. You can visit a Hindu temple in the morning, a Chinese clan house in the afternoon, and a mosque in the evening. You can chat with hawker stall owners about their food, bargain with shopkeepers at markets, and join locals at neighborhood coffee shops. Malaysians are known for being incredibly friendly and welcoming to tourists. English is widely spoken, especially in tourist areas, so communication is easy. People are genuinely happy to share their culture, recommend their favorite food spots, and help you navigate. You get that warm feeling of being welcomed rather than just being another tourist with a credit card. The cultural festivals in Malaysia are incredible. Depending on when you visit, you might experience Hari Raya, Chinese New Year, Deepavali, or harvest festivals. The country comes alive during these celebrations, and tourists are often welcome to join the festivities. You simply don't get this cultural richness in the Maldives. Now let's discuss environmental and ethical considerations because this matters more than ever. The Maldives faces serious environmental challenges. The islands are low-lying, with the highest natural point only about 2.4 meters above sea level. Climate change and rising sea levels pose an existential threat. Some predictions suggest parts of the Maldives could become uninhabitable within the next 50 to 80 years. The tourism industry also puts stress on the fragile coral reef ecosystems. Anchor damage, sunscreen chemicals, and waste management are ongoing issues. Many Maldives resorts are working on sustainability initiatives, implementing coral restoration programs, reducing plastic use, and investing in renewable energy. But the fundamental model of flying tourists thousands of miles to stay on private islands is inherently carbon-intensive. The seaplanes alone consume enormous amounts of fuel. Malaysia has environmental challenges too, particularly with deforestation and overdevelopment in some areas. But the country has also established significant marine parks and conservation areas. Sipadan has strict visitor limits to protect the ecosystem. Many dive operators and resorts actively participate in reef conservation. The tourism in Malaysia feels more integrated into existing communities rather than displacing them. From a social perspective, tourism in the Maldives concentrates wealth in the hands of resort owners and international hotel chains. Local workers staff the resorts, but most profits leave the country. In Malaysia, your tourism dollars spread more widely. You're eating at local restaurants, shopping at local businesses, using local tour operators, and staying at locally owned hotels. Your money has a more direct impact on the communities you visit. Let's get real about who each destination is actually best for. The Maldives is perfect if you want total relaxation and you have the budget to support it. If you're celebrating a major milestone like a honeymoon or anniversary and you want that once-in-a-lifetime splurge, the Maldives delivers. If you're someone who just wants to unplug, lay by a pool, get massages, and not think about anything, it's ideal. If having that iconic overwater bungalow photo is important to you, go for it. If you're a serious diver with money to spend and you want to tick off diving bucket list sites, the Maldives makes sense. Malaysia is better if you want a well-rounded vacation that combines beaches, culture, food, and adventure. If you're traveling with family or friends and want activities for different interests, Malaysia offers way more variety. If you're a foodie who considers meals a major part of the travel experience, Malaysia wins hands down. If you want to explore and discover rather than just relax in one spot, Malaysia gives you that freedom. If you want incredible value and to stretch your budget further, Malaysia is the obvious choice. Here's maybe the most important distinction. The Maldives is a vacation. Malaysia is a journey. One is about escaping your life for a week. The other is about experiencing something different and coming back enriched. Neither approach is wrong. They're just different. Let me break down a realistic cost comparison for a couple taking a 7-night trip to really drive this home. Maldives. Flights $3,000. Resort accommodation $8,400 at $1,200 per night. Meals and drinks at resort $2,800. Speedboat transfers $600. Activities and excursions $800. Miscellaneous and tips $400. Total approximately $16,000. Malaysia. Flights $1,400. Accommodation mix of nice resorts $1,750 at $250 per night average. Meals mix of resort and local food $700. Ground transportation $200. Activities and excursions $400. Miscellaneous and shopping $550. Total approximately $5,000. That's an $11,000 difference. Think about what you could do with an extra $11,000. You could take 2 more trips. You could upgrade to business class flights. You could extend your vacation. You could invest it, save it, or use it for something else that matters to you. Some people will say money isn't everything, and they're right. But money represents time and energy you spent earning it. You should get meaningful value in return. The question isn't whether you can afford the Maldives. The question is whether the experience justifies spending 3 times as much for something that might not actually be 3 times better. Here's what very few people admit. A lot of the Maldives appeal is about status and bragging rights. It's about being able to say you went to the Maldives. It's about posting those over-water bungalow photos on social media. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, but be honest with yourself about what you're actually paying for. Are you paying for the experience itself, or for how the experience looks to other people? Malaysia doesn't have the same prestige factor. Your friends might not be as impressed when you say you're going to Malaysia, but the people who actually travel extensively and know what they're doing recognize that Malaysia is one of the best value destinations on Earth for quality and diversity it offers. After comparing these 2 destinations across every meaningful dimension, here's my conclusion. The Maldives is beautiful, luxurious, and special. But unless you have money to burn or you're specifically seeking that ultra-luxury resort bubble experience, Malaysia gives you more for less. More beaches to explore, more activities to try, better food, richer culture, easier access, and vastly better value. You can have an absolutely incredible vacation in Malaysia that rivals the Maldives in beauty and exceeds it in adventure, all while spending a fraction of the cost. The beaches are stunning. The water is crystal clear. The marine life is abundant, and you get so much more alongside it. You get to actually experience a country rather than just a resort. If you've been dreaming of the Maldives because you think it's the only place that offers tropical paradise, I'm telling you that Malaysia deserves serious consideration. You might find that it's not just a cheaper alternative. It might actually be better. Different people will answer that question differently. But for most travelers, Malaysia offers the more complete and satisfying experience. So here's what you should do. Research both destinations with fresh eyes now that you know what each truly offers. Be honest about what you value most in a vacation. If it's absolute luxury and you have the budget, the Maldives might still be right for you. But if you value diversity, authenticity, adventure, food, culture, and getting more for your money, Malaysia should be at the top of your list. Don't just follow the crowd to the Maldives because travel magazines say you should. Make the choice that's right for you, your travel style, and your budget. The world has amazing destinations all over, and sometimes the ones that don't get as much hype deliver even better experiences. Malaysia is proof of that. If this comparison helped you think differently about your next beach vacation, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want more honest travel comparisons that cut to the hype and tell you what destinations are really like. Drop a comment telling me which destination you'd choose and why. I'm genuinely curious to hear your perspective. Thanks for watching, and wherever you end up going, I hope it's incredible.